This is a very solemn episode, considering that May 29th, that just passed, is the anniversary of the day that war broke out between Biafra and Nigeria in 1967. When I discuss Biafra, it's not about Igbos and Yorubas, and I hope you can walk away from here and understand that it's not about Igbos or Yorubas or Hausas or Edos or anybody. It's about pricking our conscience as Nigerians to understand that when your brother bleeds, you should bleed. Because if you let your brother bleed today while you're having a good time, tomorrow you may be bleeding and your brother may be laughing. Talk to T.Y. Danjuma. Talk to General Yakubu Gowon. Talk to many of those people in Plateau State and Benue State and Southern Kaduna. They all fought with Nigeria, but you see Nigeria happening to them today. Talk to those farmers in Ekiti. Talk to those farmers in Ondo. Talk to those farmers in Kogi State. They all fought with Nigeria against Biafra, but Nigeria is happening to them today.
Land of the rising sun, we love and cherish. Beloved homeland of our brave heroes, we must defend our lives or we shall perish. We shall protect our hearts from all our foes. But if the prize is death for all we hold dear, then let us die without a shred of fear. Hell to Biafra, consecrated nation. Oh fatherland, peace be our solemn pledge. Defending thee shall be our dedication. Spilling our blood will count our privilege. The waving standard which emboldened thee free shall always be our flag of liberty.
Hello, everybody. Once again, this is Fred Nwankwo coming to you from our studios in Chicago with another edition of Bold Talk on Island TV. And as usual, I'd like to say good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you, depending on where you are around the world. One of the things that led to the war was that a coup in 1966 was dubbed an Igbo coup. The beauty of that story is that today it's mostly significant Yorubas and Edo people and are telling the story that the coup was not an Igbo coup. And also, Babangida has come out with a book that fully disputes that lie. Regardless of where the facts lie, almost 1 million Igbos were massacred even before the war started. When Odumegwu Ojukwu decided to pull back his people and say, enough of this. You either going to protect my people or I'm going to pull my people out of the country. Nigeria decided to go to war, not to protect the unity of Nigeria, but for the greed of trying to control the oil in the Delta. And to achieve that greed and give themselves a soft landing in that region, they lied to the neighbors of Igbos. They lied to people from River State, lied to people from Akwa Ibom, lied to people from Cross River State, and lied to people from Bayelsa, and told them that Igbos want to dominate you. We're going to protect you and make sure they don't dominate you. The saddest part of that is that these are neighbors who Igbos got along with well before the war. But more so, some of those neighbors are Igbos who are really living outside the 5 core Igbo states. And the Fulanis poisoned the mind of those Igbos against their brothers and sisters in the core Igbo states, the 5 core Igbo states. The result is that up till this day, diplomacy to reunite Igbos continues to go on, and the wrenches and the knives to keep them divided continues to be applied by the same people who started that division in 1967. Today, Nnamdi Kanu, today's symbol of Biafra, remains locked up behind bars in Nigeria. For what? For fighting the cause that every Igbo person believes in, which is simple: treat my people fairly or set my people free. That's not too much to ask. If Yorubas feel not treated fairly in Nigeria, I'm sure their sentiment is the same: treat my people fairly or set my people free. If any other tribe in Nigeria is feeling the same kind of oppression, their sentiments will be the same. Why is it that when Igbos exhibit this sentiment, many non-Igbo Nigerians feel irritated? And their irritation makes me think that they feel like, okay, we know that's the case, but shut up. What's the big deal? We've heard enough of it. You've heard enough of it. You've heard enough of a people being not just massacred in 1967, but continuing to be planned to be massacred and eliminated. And you think it's not a big deal? It's not a big deal that just 2-3 weeks ago, it turned out that JAMB orchestrated a grading system that failed almost 1 million students who passed were failed by JAMB. And you think that's a coincidence? What's the big deal? Have you looked at Enugu and Onitsha and Aba and Port Harcourt and Owerri and Umuahia? Before the Civil War, Enugu was not competing with Ibadan and Benin and Kaduna. Enugu was competing with Lagos. And I'm just using Enugu as one example. Have you traveled as a Nigerian? Have you dared to take a trip across River Niger into Igbo land and travel corner to corner before unknown gunmen? So I'm not saying risk your life today and go in there. Before unknown gunmen, when that region was safe, did you travel in there to see how deprived that region is of infrastructure in comparison with what the federal government has done in Ibadan, in Lagos, in Kaduna, in Kano, in Benin, in Ilorin, in Port Harcourt, in Jos, in Makurdi, and I could go on and on and on. And then multiply that by 50 years, and you see how deprived that region has become. And 95% of the good things you see there, and believe me, there are a lot of good things there, especially individual homes. 95% of the good things you see there are based on individual effort, because the federal government has a silent, unspoken, unwritten policy to make sure nothing good goes to that region. Not the rail lines, not a full-fledged international airport. This is not an episode to bash Nigerians. This is an episode to prick the conscience of fellow Nigerians, Edos, Yorubas, Hausas, conscientious Fulanis, thieves, Edomas. But while I'm trying to prick your conscience, I'm trying to bluntly tell you part of what led to what Igbos went through. Today you see Theophilus Danjuma crying about what they are doing to his people in his state. I share his pain with him. But I'll be remiss if I don't say that Theophilus Danjuma played a significant role in the massacre of Igbos. But his people, with his knowledge, being one of their high-ranking army officers, knew exactly what was going on with Igbos, but they did not protect Igbos. And the same Fulanis that brainwashed them to fight Igbos are the same Fulani that are killing his people today. General Yakubu Gowon led that war against Biafra on behalf of Nigeria. General Yakubu Gowon cannot drive around his state without heavy security. If he does, he may be a dead man today. His people are being killed in large numbers. Many Igbos that escaped Kano, Kaduna, Maiduguri, the heart of Hausa land, the heart of the north, trying to get back home, were massacred in the boundary towns between Benue and eastern Nigeria because people in Benue collaborated with the Fulanis to massacre Igbos. I'm not making this soft on anybody, and I know many people would not want to hear it because we like lying to ourselves. I have forgiven every person from Benue. I personally have forgiven General Yakubu Gowon because I say to him, may God forgive him because he's paying the price today. I'll be remiss if I don't say that Chief Obafemi Awolowo played a significant role as one of the high-ranking people in Nigeria during that war. And the words came out of his mouth. The videos are there to show it, where he said that starvation is a weapon of war. And sadly, he wasn't saying that starvation was a weapon of war to kill Biafran soldiers. He was watching Biafran children dying of kwashiorkor, and his conscience did not prick him. The average Yoruba person doesn't like me saying this. I like Awolowo. I admire many of his policies. I admire what he did for Western Nigeria. But truth be told, it's not about Igbos and Yorubas, and I hope you can walk away from here and understand that it's not about Igbos or Yorubas or Hausas or Edos or anybody. It's about pricking our conscience as Nigerians to understand that when your brother bleeds, you should bleed. Because if you let your brother bleed today while you're having a good time, tomorrow you may be bleeding and your brother may be laughing. Talk to those farmers in Ekiti. Talk to those farmers in Ondo. Talk to those farmers in Kogi State. They all fought with Nigeria against Biafra, but Nigeria is happening to them today. So when you see Igbos celebrate Biafra, they are not doing it to rub it into you. They are doing it in salute and reverence to the many lives we lost in pursuit of freedom, equity, and fairness. The same thing we now pursue with Yorubas and Edos and Hausas, especially in southern Kaduna, and people in Benue and Plateau. We are all going through the same thing that Igbos went through in 1966 and 1967. And the pain we've gone through since the war ended, an ending that resulted in Nigeria, General Yakubu Gowon telling Igbos that there are no winners and there are no vanquished. If there were no vanquished in that war, I would like a Yoruba person or an Hausa person or a Fulani person or a man from River State who has been enjoying the brainwash, Benue, Plateau. I would like them to take a drive around Igbo land 50 plus years after the war ended and tell me if there was a vanquished. And on that note, I want to ask a few questions. Will Nigeria ever admit that Igbos were framed as coup plotters in 1966 in a coup that was universally planned by Nigerian officers? Would Nigeria admit that they lied? Will Nigeria ever admit the genocidal massacre, planned, staged, well-orchestrated genocidal massacre of Igbos in the northern cities to the tune of hundreds of thousands? Will Nigeria ever admit that Muritala Muhammad, the man they have his face on one of our Naira notes, the man they named the biggest airport in Nigeria after, would Nigeria ever admit that Muritala Muhammad massacred almost 1 1,000 Igbo men in Asaba, unarmed men. Their crime was that they were Igbos, but the shame was that they were Igbos fighting on the side of Nigeria. Will Nigeria ever admit to the infrastructure development blacklist of the 5 Igbo states since the war ended, which is the reason why so many Igbos move on to Lagos and Abuja and Kaduna or Port Harcourt or wherever they can put their goods down and sell and make a living. And the result is people in Lagos insulting them, insulting their hard work and saying Igbo must go. If Igbo was developed at the rate Lagos was developed with Nigeria's money, Commonwealth money, would Igbos give a damn about coming to Lagos or Abuja? As a kid, I lived in Lagos, and I know that when you see an Igbo person who is working in Lagos being transferred to Onitsha or Enugu, there is a celebration. I'm going home. So Igbos don't have a need for Lagos if Nigeria would be fair and do 2 things. One is invest in Igbo land to the tune that you have invested in other parts of Nigeria. But more importantly, set Igbos free to build Igbo land. If Igbos want to make Owerri Airport International Airport, set them free to invest their money to bring it to any standard it can be. Many of these things cannot be done because some of the equipment cannot be approved by the federal government. So they have your hands tied. Even if you have the money to invest, you cannot invest it because the federal government hasn't permitted you to invest it. The next question I have is, will Nigeria ever admit that the rejection of Muhammadu Buhari in 2015 by Igbos was the smartest thing a segment of Nigeria did? What was the result of you, Yorubas and Hausas and Fulanis and people from Benue and Edo? How do you feel? How, buddy, after 8 years of Buhari, would Nigeria admit that Igbos did right in 2019 when they rejected Buhari again? Would Nigeria admit that Igbos did right in 2023 when they rejected Bola Ahmed Tinubu? How, buddy? We're all living in Bola Ahmed Tinubu's Nigeria. If you are not lying to yourself, you know you're going through hell. Will Nigeria admit that the WAEC profiling that just happened was geared towards minimizing Igbos, stopping them from achieving something they do in flying colors? Will Nigeria admit it and apologize? No, it wouldn't. Igbos don't expect any apologies from Nigeria. We've been dealing with it for a long time. But like I said, I'm bold talking in a way that I want your conscience to be pricked. But I know that instead of touching your conscience because of tribalism, your veins are popping. Your venom is getting ready to be spewed because you can't stand this damned Igbo man that tells the truth. But if you're going to watch Bull Talk, you're going to hear the truth. And with all those questions asked, with all the facts now clarified, where have Igbos gone wrong in Nigeria? I like Nigerians, non-Igbos, to come into my studio. Let's talk. I'd like you to tell me where Igbos have gone wrong. And if these facts are right, which I'd like you to prove me wrong. So why do you hate Igbos? Can you really tell me why you hate Igbos? Is it envy because they do so well in anything they set their mind to do? Is it your inability to compete at the same level with Igbos? There are a lot of Nigerians who can compete with Igbos. There are a lot of Nigerians who can do better than Igbos. But you're not going to compete effectively when you're getting freebies that you don't deserve and it's taking away your incentive to work hard. That's why Igbos achieve. Let's play on a level playing ground. I didn't say Igbos are better than you. Quote me right when you quote me. I'm saying as long as you keep depriving Igbos, Igbos are going to keep beating you. All they ask is, let's play on an equal level playing ground. The day you decide to compete like they do, you too will do better. Igbos are not, we're all black people, we're all Africans, we're all talented. But your talent is not going to show when you are not given a chance to work hard to hone the talent. And finally, do you hate Igbos because of the lies you were told by your parents? We're all educated. You are educated. You can't blame it on your parents anymore. If you've gone to school and you're smart, why would you believe the lies of a parent? These things are food for thought. But I just want to tell you why Igbos are never going to stop celebrating Biafra. Biafra is something in our heads. Some of us want Biafra as a physical place, and they're ready to die to get it. Some of us don't think it's worth dying for, but they think it's worth leaving us alone, giving us the freedom to build our region to the max we can build it. You stay in your place, we stay in our place. When you visit, we welcome you. When we visit, welcome us. When you come to our part to compete, you're welcome. Don't stop us from competing wherever we want to compete. If you're going to keep us in a country we don't want to be part of, you might as well set us free to achieve at any level we can achieve. Is that too much to ask? Ladies and gentlemen, once again, this is Fred Nwanko coming to you from our studios in Chicago with a Celebrate Biafra version of Bold Talk on Allen TV. And until next time, good night and God bless.